All right, everybody. Welcome to my channel. Let's ride 777. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. It helps out a lot. And on today's video, I'm going to be explaining to you why I decided to change the color of my Lifan Kpm Master 200C. I'm going to be explaining to y'all the materials I use, why I decided to change the color, how much money I spent, what was the best option that I had. Because I had three options. Three options I had. I choose one option that works best for me. Probably the other options are better for y'all, but everyone has a different option that works best for them. So the option that I choose for my seat was in changing the color of my seat. One of the reasons why I decided to go that way, it was because just changing the color of the seat, I wouldn't have to buy a new seat and also modify the seat. For those of you that are familiar with this KPM 200, note that this seat comes in color brown. I didn't like the color at all, so I decided to change the color of the seat, color black. Just like I said, I had three options. The first option I had was replacing the seat with a whole brand new seat. I look around on eBay, look around on Amazon, shop around online, found some for $35, found some for $45, $90. But every single seat that I found or I seen online, you had to modify the seat in order to make the seat fit correctly on the bike. So that was my first option. I decided I didn't want to go by that option. So I went to my second option. My second option was that I was going to reholster the seat, but I needed to find somebody that could reposter the seat for me. I didn't have the time. As you know, right now we're in the holidays, so I didn't have no time to go look around, find somebody that could reposter my seat. So that option was out the door. When I was looking around on YouTube, I found a person that had a cafe racer seat, and they also decided to dye the seat of their motorcycle. And when I looked at it, I started doing my research, looking around how to do it, what the process, what do I need, and I decided that was going to be the best option for me. So today I'm going to be explaining to y'all how did I dye my leather seat for my cafe racer motorcycle. And when I say I dyed my leather seat, I did not paint my leather seat. And that is very important that you know. Why? When you paint the leather seat, the paint, it stays on top of the material. But when you dye the leather, the dye actually gets embedded inside the leather. And that's what I did. That's two things that are completely different. The paint sits on the top of the material. The dye gets embedded inside the material, which that's what I did. I dyed my seat. So first of all, I'm going to tell you the materials that I use to get the seat prepared in order to start dyeing the leather seat. First thing you're going to need is acetone. I don't know, you want to go to your wife's dresser, the bathroom, your wife belonging, find a bottle of acetone with some cotton swab. What you want to do is take the cotton swab and clean the leather seat. Make sure you get off the dirt, anything that could disturb the paint. But also, what are you doing is that you deglazing the top layer of the color of the clear coat that has the leather seat. And that's very important. The reason why you want to do that The reason why you want to do that is so when you dye the seat, the dye could get embedded inside of the material correctly. I also use this right here called Angelus Jet Black Leather Dye. You could get this on Amazon. It called Jet Black Leather Dye from Angelus. This costs about $15 on Amazon. This is what I use to dye my leather seat. And this product is very good. This product, you could dye a jacket, leather belts, sneakers, anything that is leather, you could dye using this product. And what's great about this product is that this product comes with a wool brush. This is the wool brush I use to get the dye on my leather seat. Also, you're gonna need one brush. This right here is a foam brush. You could get these foam brush, Dollar Tree, very cheap. Also, this is very, very, very important. This right here is Angelus Matte 4 Coat. This right here is a clear coat that you definitely gonna need when you dye your leather seat. Now, there have been a lot of videos out there. Does this actually works? Will the material, um, would it last? Would the paint transfer? There's a lot of videos out there, but if you do it correctly, step by step, you can see I'm touching and there's absolutely nothing on my hand. Now, the first step that you want to do, clean the seat with the acetone, deglaze it. Make sure you take all the dirt off. I highly recommend that you do this inside your garage or inside someplace inside your house. Don't do it outside because there's a lot of wind, and when you're painting, when you're dyeing, you could have a lot of wind. Dirt debris could land on the surface of your painting, and it could dirty, leave dirt on your surface, and you have to restart over again because the dye, the paint, it just won't look professional, it won't look correct. So I highly recommend that when you start dyeing your seat, take it inside your house, inside your garage, inside your workshop, whatever it is that you work from, and do it inside in a controlled environment. That's what you really want to do. You want to have it in a controlled environment. Not only do that, but also there's some kind of plastic material to put underneath the seat so you won't get this dye, because this dye, you know, this right here gets embedded inside the materials. So whatever it is, if you're painting it on the floor, if you're painting on a table, make sure you have some kind of plastic protecting the surface where you're painting from. Now, highly recommend you remove the seat. If you do not know how to remove the seat, it's an easy process and remove the seat. All you have to do is just take this plastic fender out. There's 3 screws that you gotta remove. 1, 2, and 3. You go on the other side, you will do the same thing. Now, to remove the seat, there's 1 screw right here, and there's 1 screw on the other side. That's all you need to do to remove the seat. So now let's prepare the surface to start dyeing. Once you have it inside, take your acetone, clean it, deglaze it, make sure there's no dirt, make sure there's no debris on it. Once you've done that, all right, when you decide to dye the seat, take your brush, go nice and smooth, nice and smooth, nice and smooth, so you won't leave no strokes of the paint of the dye. Awesome. Once you gave it your first coat of dye, wait a couple of minutes, 15, 20, 30 minutes before you decide to give it a second coat. Once you do that, for the final coat, it's recommended that you give it 24 hours before you give it your final coat. Make sure it's completely dry before you give it your final coat. Before you decide to give it your clear coat, make sure you wait 24 hours. But when you in between coats of dyeing, get a half hour, 40 minutes, let it dry, then come back, give it another coat until you achieve the color that you want. And not only it will look great, it will very look professional, and you will get the best quality of the product. You'll make the product work correctly like it's supposed to do. Now, there's a video out there about this gentleman that he also decided to dye his seat. Now, people started asking him, well, how dyeing your seat would it hold up in weather? So he said 2 weeks later, after he dyed his seat, he said that he noticed that a little bit of dye was transferring to his pants. And I believe the reason why that happened was because he did not give it a clear coat. Now, Angelus, they recommend that if you paint the seat, you give it a clear coat. When you dye the seat, you don't really have to give it a clear coat, but it is recommended if you want to protect the seat from scratch. It makes the leather crack resistance. It also give it a nice clean finish. But most importantly, when you use this product, it will not let the paint, the dye transfer to your clothes because you're clear coated. That's why it's more important that you use this product. Using this product will stop it from transferring onto your clothes, onto your pants, especially when you're raining, when it's raining, when it's bad weather, and you're out there driving your motorcycle. This is what you need. This is called Angelus Matte 4-Coat. There's coming 4 different kinds. It come in high gloss, satin, matte, and flat. I use the matte. Very important that you do this so that the paint doesn't transfer to your pants. It also makes the leather crack resistant and also give it a clear coat where it looks more professional, more nice. And it's very important that you use this. Don't forget to use this. Also, before you decide to use this, wait 24 hours. You got to wait 24 hours for the dye to dry in order to use this product. One more thing that I forgot. Once you achieve the color and you waited 24 hours, get yourself a a microfiber rag, pass it through the leather, and take all that extra dye that is on the seat. That is very important that you do that too. What happened is all those extra dye that didn't got embedded inside the seat, you want to remove all of that. You want to remove all that extra dye that wasn't embedded in the seat before you give it a clear coat. So take a microfiber rag, wipe it down, take all the extra dye, then you give it a clear coat. Once you give it a clear coat, it's gonna look great, it's gonna look professional, it's gonna look awesome. This right here was my best option. There's always better options for everybody. This right here costs $15. This right here costs about roughly $8-10. The brush I got it from $1 in Dollar Tree, and some acetone. That's all you need to dye the color of your seat. You could do this, I say probably in 2 days, because you gotta wait 24 hours for the final coat. But it makes the bike look better. Not only does it make the bike look better, um, I'm very happy and impressed how it came out. I didn't expect it to come out this nice, but it did. So I highly recommend that you buy this product. It's called Angelus Jet Black Leather Dye. Angelus Jet Black Leather Dye. This is what you need. This is what you need. This and the clear coat. So that's all I got for you today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions of the process how to dye, if you need help, where did I purchase these products? All these products that I purchased, these dye I purchased on Amazon. You can get it right off of Amazon. Angelus, they also got their own website, but you could purchase this on Amazon, all these products. And if y'all have any questions, y'all can leave a comment. I reply to you as soon as possible, guide you through of every step and dyeing the leather seat. That's all I got for today. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. Let's Ride 777.